Hello there, and welcome back to CarSpyTV. Today, I have a bit of a treat for you because we're having a look at this fascinating barn find. It's a Ford Anglia Super with a 1.2 litre engine, finished in blue with a white roof. It was registered in August 1963 and it was on the road until the early 1980s. In fact, I've done a bit of research and I found out that the last tax disc expired on December 1st, 1981. So it was on the road for about 18 years. That's a good long life for a car of this period, which suggests to me it was liked, loved and looked after. Now, when the Ford Anglia came off the road, it was put into a garage, just an ordinary garage attached to a house, and there it sat for 40 years. It didn't move at all for 4 decades. And during that time, the only thing of note that happened was one night there was a storm, part of the garage roof fell down, and bits and pieces landed on the car. Luckily, there was very little damage. Now, there's good news and bad news about this car. The good news is that it's more or less complete. It's got all the body panels, it's got the windscreen, the rear window, the side windows, it's even got an interior, it's got the grille, it's got the lights front and rear. It's missing a few little bits of trim here and there, but pretty remarkable considering how old it is. This car also still has its 1.2 litre engine and the gearbox and all the running gear, all that sort of stuff. The bad news is that this Ford Anglia is very, very rusty. There's significant corrosion on the A-pillars, all along the sills, the jacking points, close to the suspension, and have a look at this front wing. It's literally full of holes both at the front and at the rear. As for the engine, well, I've got no idea whether it's seized up. It may not have been turned over for 40 years, but on the plus side, it does still have an AA badge. Now, in the last few days, the Ford Anglia has been dragged out the garage, sold to a new owner, and taken away on the back of a lorry. And here's the really good news. Apparently, fingers crossed, it's going to be fully restored. And I am going to keep my fingers crossed because so many people start restoring classic cars with the very best of intentions, but then they run out of time, energy, inclination and money and the cars don't get finished. Hopefully that won't happen to this Ford Anglia because I think there is genuinely something to work with there. It is more or less complete, as I said earlier. And let's not forget what it is. The Ford Anglia is a popular car. It's a loved car. It's part of our national heritage here in the UK. Those things used to be absolutely everywhere. So let's hope this Ford Anglia has a bright future. And speaking of old wrecks, I'm sitting now in a 21-year-old Nissan Micra, which, as you can see, has no passenger seat. The carpet's up, but at least I have put various bits and pieces back under the bonnet where they belong. I've been fiddling with this car in other videos to see how viable it is to get it back on the road, but it has done, I don't know if you can see that down there on the odometer, but it has done nearly 153,000 miles, and I'll say this quietly, I think the gearbox is knackered. But never mind, it's fun to fiddle with it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you may like to do so, because I do have some more classic car content somewhere out there. I did do another Ford Anglia video because my father had one of those way back in the day. I remember I've also done one about the Hillman Avenger, the Datsun Sunny, the Nissan Bluebird, various other classic cars you may like to have a look at. And you can also see me fiddling with this thing if you feel so inclined. So that's all for now. I'll see you next time.